You've probably seen it everywhere, right? Black seed oil. It's in supplements, it's in skincare, it's been talked about for, well, thousands of years. But what's the real story? Is this just an ancient remedy that's getting a lot of modern hype? Or is there some solid science to actually back it all up? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out.
So, first things first, let's get on the same page. What exactly is this stuff? Black seed oil is an herbal ingredient that's pressed from the seeds of a plant called Nigella sativa. And you might see it pop up under other names too, like black cumin or Nigella, but don't let that confuse you. It's all coming from the same place.
All right, here's how we're going to break this all down. We're going to start with its history as an ancient herbal remedy. Then we'll dive into the science behind its benefits for skin and hair. After that, we'll look at what it might do for our health on the inside. Then, and this is super important, we'll cover how to use it safely. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the final verdict. Okay, let's kick things off by rewinding the clock. And just to be clear, this is not some new health fad that just popped up. Nope, we are talking about a remedy with some seriously deep roots. I mean, for literally thousands of years, different cultures have been using these tiny black seeds for all sorts of things. So the big question for us today is, what happens when you take that ancient tradition and put it under a modern microscope? Well, scientists have zeroed in on this one really powerful compound inside the oil called thymoquinone. That seems to be the secret sauce, and they're really just starting to figure out everything it's capable of. Now let's move on to the stuff you can actually see, the potential benefits for your skin and your hair. This is really where a lot of the recent buzz has come from. So first up, acne. It's a huge question, right? Can this oil actually help? I mean, on paper, it kind of makes sense. It's got known antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. But what do the studies actually show? Well, check this out. One study in 2020 put it to the test. They had people use a topical gel made with black seed extract for 60 days. And the result? A whopping 78% reduction in how severe their acne was. I mean, that is a really significant improvement. Okay, that's pretty impressive. But what about something a little tougher, a more complex condition like psoriasis? That's a condition that's all about inflammation. So on this one, the research is still early, but it is looking pretty promising. We have animal studies showing it can calm down that skin inflammation, plus a big review back in 2017 found that when people took it as a supplement and used it as a cream, their psoriasis symptoms actually got better. And it all seems to point back to its anti-inflammatory punch, thanks again to that key compound, thymoquinone. But, and this is a really big but, we have to pump the brakes a little bit. The scientists themselves are very clear on this. We absolutely need more, bigger studies on humans before we can say anything for sure. All right, let's switch gears from skin over to hair. You see black seed oil in shampoos, in hair masks. It seems to be everywhere. So is there any real science behind that, or is it just good marketing? Turns out there might be. One small study looked at people with a really common type of temporary hair thinning. They used a lotion with the extract, and after just 3 months, their hair was not only denser, but thicker too. And get this, another study compared it to a bunch of other seed oils and found that Nigella sativa was actually the most effective one for cutting down on hair loss. Okay, so we've talked about what it can do on the outside. Now let's go a little deeper and see what the research says about what might be happening inside our bodies. And we're starting with a big one, asthma. We keep hearing about its anti-inflammatory reputation, so could it actually help people breathe easier? The research suggests it just might. One small study found it had what's called a bronchodilatory effect, which is really just a fancy way of saying it helped open up the airways so people could breathe better. Then a big meta-analysis in 2021 agreed that, yeah, it seems to help manage asthma, probably because of those anti-inflammatory properties. But again, it's important to know the science here is still pretty new. Moving on, let's talk about something that affects millions of people: blood sugar. Is it possible black seed oil could have an impact here? Well, a 2019 review that looked at a whole bunch of studies suggests the answer is a pretty strong yes. It found that black seed could actually improve some really important things, like insulin levels, your blood sugar when you first wake up, and even how your body handles sugar after you eat a meal. And to give you a concrete example, just look at this one 8-week study. They looked at people who had high blood pressure, and the results were just wow. Reductions pretty much across the board. Diastolic blood pressure went down. Total cholesterol went down. That bad LDL cholesterol, down. And fasting blood sugar, you guessed it, down too. All of these are major risk factors for metabolic syndrome, so that's pretty significant stuff.
So, with all this promising potential, you might be thinking, okay, how do I use it? And that brings us to a super, super important topic: how to do it safely. Okay, the first thing you absolutely have to know is this: there is no standard one-size-fits-all dose. It's not like taking an aspirin. If you look at all the different studies, the amounts are all over the place. Sometimes it's less than a gram for blood sugar, other times it's over 2,000 milligrams for weight loss. The key takeaway here is that there is no single magic number.
And this is really, really important. Some people need to be extra cautious. If you're pregnant, or if you have any kind of liver or kidney issues, this is probably not for you. And honestly, for absolutely everyone, the golden rule is this: talk to your doctor or another healthcare professional before you even think about starting this, or any new supplement for that matter.
All right, we have covered a ton of information here, from its ancient past all the way to modern clinical trials. So let's boil it all down. What is the final verdict on black seed oil? Okay, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be these 3 Ps. First, potential. There is no doubt this oil shows real promise for a whole host of conditions. Second, preliminary. You have to remember, for a lot of these benefits, the science is still young. It's not a slam dunk yet. And third, and this is the most important one, precaution. Please, this is not something to self-diagnose or experiment with. Always, always, always talk to a doctor first. You know, black seed oil is such a fascinating example of modern science looking back at ancient wisdom and actually finding something real there. It just goes to show you how much we still have to learn. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other natural secrets are out there, just waiting for us to rediscover them?